The illegal immigration wave comes crashing in. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. I hate to say I told you so, but this is something I've been warning about for some time, something I've been reporting on since early in the new year. The fact that Canada has an illegal immigration problem that's growing, one that is organized by people south of the border in the United States and aided and abetted here in Canada by immigration and refugee advocates that don't see the difference between legal and illegal immigration. Now, back during the winter, we were talking to you about people that were crossing snow-covered farmers' fields to get from Minnesota to Emerson, Manitoba, or showing up at the end of a dead-end street and walking across a snowy embankment to cross over from New York State into Quebec. I warned at the time that if this was allowed to continue, if we sent the wrong signal, it would only grow, and it would grow exponentially once the good weather came. Well, how bad is it now? We're housing people at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. They've set up an incredible infrastructure arrangement just to deal with the flow of illegal immigrants, or refugees, as many in the media mistakenly call them. They're not refugees. They're coming from the United States. They're crossing the border illegally because they know about the loophole in our immigration laws. If these people showed up at a regular border crossing, they'd be sent back to the United States. They wouldn't be given a cot and a welcome mat to go sleep at Olympic Stadium. The fact is, we did not send the right signal. We sent the wrong signal. And so we get 200, 300 a day, or according to the head of the Border Guard Union, 500 just this past Monday. 500 people crossing. The Refugee and Immigration Services in Montreal are so overwhelmed that they have set up a makeshift sleeping arrangement at Olympic Stadium. Does that not scream the Superdome and Katrina? I don't know. But what I can say is that this is the result of bad planning, of sending the wrong message, of not dealing with this crisis when it was at the beginning, back in the winter. They should have simply started sending people back, stopping them from crossing the border, rather than having the RCMP there to help folks across with their luggage. I've talked to frontline Mounties. They're not happy about this. I've talked to a couple who've been shifted in from parts of Ontario into Quebec. They're rotating officers from across the country into Quebec. Why? Because they simply don't have enough officers within the Quebec detachment to deal with this. Check out the infrastructure they've got at the border now. They've got stanchions set up. They've got waiting queues. They've got a minibus that takes them to the processing center and then buses to transport them to Montreal once they've been processed by Canada Border Services. Can we expect the Trudeau government to fix this? No. First off, they're not going to face any real pressure in the House of Commons when it resumes to do anything about this. The Conservatives are afraid to touch this because they know the media are just going to, attack them as being anti-immigrant if they say anything about the illegal immigrants. The NDP love this, and, look at the messages that our immigration minister is sending out. This is Ahmed Hussein's Twitter feed from this week, and what's he got? He's got this graphic image saying a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. We made our immigration system fair and eliminated two-tiered citizenship. What he's not talking about is the fact that it wasn't the smiling faces that you see in this photo. It's not those people that had two-tiered citizenship eliminated on them. It's people that were terrorists with dual nationality. That's right. He's given citizenship back to terrorists. He's not going to be worried about illegal immigrants crossing in from the United States. Earlier on, we were told that this was all about Syria. Of course, it wasn't about Syria. And now we're being told it's Haitian, people that are facing deportation due to Donald Trump. The fact is, they are in the United States on something that's called a TPS, temporary protection system is what they're part of. They were never supposed to stay in the United States this long, and we could have an argument about whether the U.S. should be allowing people in temporarily if they're just going to send them back. But the fact is, that's their system. They agreed to go to the United States from Haiti under that system, and now that Trump is saying, hey, look, time's up, the earthquake's over, they're fleeing to Canada. They're not refugees. They're not facing persecution in their homeland. They just don't want to go back because they know there's better opportunities in Canada. That means these folks are jumping the line. We have a generous immigration system in Canada. Between 250 and 300,000 people a year are welcomed into this country through our regular immigration system. But that doesn't count these queue jumpers. These people should be in the regular immigration system. And if we allow this parallel system to continue and we don't nip it in the bud, it will eventually lead to resentment. It will erode public support for the proper system, the legal one. Justin Trudeau needs to understand that. The NDP needs to understand that. And the Conservatives need to understand that. And somebody has to fix this soon before all of Montreal is filled with cots just from the people that are fleeing over the border. If you like the Rebel video you just watched, make sure you never miss another one again. Click here to subscribe.